Welcome back to the Cheap channel, the channel dedicated to all things cheap in the world of fragrances. And in today's video, we're going to quickly go through 5 fragrances plus one honorable mention that I don't consider really all that blind buy safe, even though I think these are all great fragrances and I highly recommend and encourage for you to try them out. I don't think that they are meant for everybody and not everyone's going to enjoy them, but I do think that you should try them out just to see what you think about them. Starting off with the first one here, it's one that, like I said, is going to be the honorable mention because it is kind of a cheapie and kind of not. It depends on where you look at if you want to get it for that under $40 and maybe even under $50 for certain sizes, and a great quality for the price that you can get it at. It is by Bulgari, and this one is called Terrae Essence. And out of all the Essence line from Bulgari, this is the one that not a lot of people are going to reach for or try out, especially if they know what it smells like, because this is one that, like the name Terrae Essence, this is a very earthy style of fragrance. It actually has a lot of similarities to Gucci Guilty Absolute, which makes sense because they are made by the same perfumer, Alberto Marias. How this is going to come across is like the name, it's a very earthy, dirty style fragrance. It actually has some animalic, almost fecal, barnyard style of nuance about it. I've always said this smells like the floor of a barn. It does have a nice citric pop on the top, a little bit fresh, but as it dries down, the woodiness and the dirtiness actually has a Styrex note in here, a little bit of a resinous factor in here, very dry, does start to come out. There's also orris in here, but it's nothing that's too iris noticeable, a little bit powdery, and then as it dries down more, it has a more natural but chilly, earthy, like almost warm ambery style about it, but still through and through it is earthy, it is dirty, and one that, you know, is going to smell very natural. It smells like one that's like a kind of environmental smell, nothing that's going to be like too synthetic smelling or too, you know, transportive in a way. Like it's not going to smell like, you know, pina coladas and coconut, you know, bubble gum, things like that. It smells like you just came out of the woods or working at a barn kind of style, but I do actually really like it. It has a nice nuance about it. It has a very masculine edge to it. It doesn't have anything like leather and woods like Gucci Guilty Absolute does. It very much is more on the earthy style like the name indicates, but one that is very interesting, one that is very unique. It is like a niche style for cheap if you can get it for a good price, but again, one that's not going to be for everyone out there. And so if you do happen to see this out and about, just be wary that it does have that kind of effect to it, but I do think that is one that is almost like a novelty kind of one in the line, and one that I do think that you should try out if you get the chance to, just so you can say you've been exposed to that side of perfumery. Again, is this one here by Bulgari and is Terrae Essence. Starting off with the first one here, it's one that actually comes to us from a women's line of fragrances that's very popular. It's from Billie Eilish, and it is Eilish No. 2. Going to try to be careful with what I show in this because the bottle is a little bit risque, but everyone who knows about it already knows what it's about anyway. And even though this is from the Billie Eilish line of fragrances, this is actually a release that did not do so well with most of the demographic because it has a little bit of a masculine edge to it, but yet some guys also don't like this. So if the guys don't like it and the girls don't like it either, it makes you wonder where this actually falls. And because of that, it quickly went to rack stores where you could find it now for like 20 something dollars for a 50 ml size bottle, which is really nice. And the reason this isn't very blind buy safe is because this is actually a very dark woody fragrance. It starts off with a little bit of a citric vanilla pop on the top, and actually vanilla stays all the way through, adding a little bit of a sweetness, kind of balancing out that very dry, dark style of woods. There's like an ebony woods note in here. There's Palo Santo, I think a little bit of sandalwood, very dry, woody, very dark. I think it's also patchouli, has almost an earthy, smoky facet to it with the woods and the vanilla. Some people say it has a similarity to Le Labo's Santal 33, but I think this actually has a little more nuance to that. It's definitely darker, a little bit sweeter, still has a powdery, almost spicy aspect to it, but majority what you can get with this is a woody style of fragrance. And for a women's perfume, this is one that definitely doesn't fit in that demographic because most women's fragrances aren't so woody, especially dark, earthy, and smoky, mixed in with that vanilla. But I think it actually makes this a very interesting fragrance, almost a niche style for the cheap, but it definitely makes it where it's not gonna be blind buy safe because not every guy wants a women's style fragrance or one that's geared toward that in their collection, and not everyone wants a fragrance that is dark earthy, woody, and smoky despite the vanillic nuances in this. So it's kind of fallen off to the wayside, but I think for those of us who want something that is more interesting in the colder seasons for a day or nighttime scent, especially nighttime, that this does fit very well in our collection. And I really do enjoy this one of my most successful blind buys, and I've been looking for it for a while. Really do enjoy it, and one that I try to wear as often as I can throughout the colder seasons, just so it does have the appreciation and it knows that it didn't fall too far off. There are those out there who enjoy it, but there also are going to be those out there who don't enjoy it. So yeah, not a good blind buy safe one, but one that if you are in a retail store or somewhere out and about where you can sample this or try it out on a tester, try it out, see what you think about it, and like I said, go to those rack stores and buy it for a way better price, but definitely one that you should try before you buy. Again, this one here by Billie Eilish, it is Eilish No. 2. The next one here is one that is actually a cologne fragrance, and I only have this one and one other cologne fragrance because I didn't want to overwhelm it, because there's a lot of colognes out there that are not blind buy safe that go and try to seek out more interesting style of fragrances to imitate, but these are the ones that I had in my collection that I did want to showcase. One of them I talked about a good bit, but another one here that I haven't talked about a whole lot. But the one I have right here is by Afnan, and it is Supremacy Incense. This is a clone of Amouage Interlude Man, also called the Blue Beast. And even though it is in a blue style bottle, and this one has a blue tint to it as well, it is not a blue style scent like you'd associate with Versace Dylan Blue and Blue Chanel and YSL and Sauvage and things like that. This one is actually one that comes across like the original, very, very smoky incense, like the name here says, Supremacy Incense. Very smoky, almost like a house fire kind of style, but right behind it has a lot of aromatics, actually a dried herbaceous kind of note, has oregano kind of nuances in there as well, a lot of spices, a good bit of an ambery kind of balsamic resinous factor to it, and a good bit of a woodiness, especially with oud, so adding a little bit more of a funky, smoky aspect to it along with the incense. One that is very masculine, very dark, and very hefty, perfect for a guy's style fragrance in the cold like fall and winter time. I really enjoy it. I really think it's amazing. It brings some nostalgic memories back to me, but it's not going to do the same for everyone else out there, but one that I highly recommend trying out anyway. And I really love the whole Supremacy line, want to get it myself, but one that may be an outlier for most people out there out of the line. Again, is this one by Afnan. It is Supremacy Incense. The next one here is one that used to be a hype beast cheapie years back. Everyone used to talk about it, especially the flanker that came after this one. Not a whole lot of people talk about the original because I guess how the scent profile is by itself. It is by Lolita Lempicka, and this one is Lempicka. This is one that, again, is not going to be for everybody, especially if you're not a fan of licorice, because this has a very strong spiciness, especially a focus on star anise. That anise note is what gives it a licorice factor, and actually has a strong, almost salty licorice aspect to it. Very noticeable, very front, a little bit powdery, spicy behind it, a little warm, a little bit sweet, a little bit of vanilla in there, but majority what you can get from that top through that mid and some of the other dry down is a licorice aspect to it. Salty, spicy, all that well through it. A little dark, a little light, a little fluffy. One that's not going to be the best as far as performance, but you still get that aspect to it all the way from the top to the middle. And even though Green Lover, the one after this, kind of got more hype and overshadowed this, they used to be talked about in tandem. And like I said, this one, when it first was by itself, you talk about it as like a niche style fragrance and a great blend for cheap, and it is still really good, really nice. But like I said, not a lot of people like licorice as a candy by itself, especially why would you want to smell like licorice, especially how strong it does come across on that opening to mid. But yeah, one that I still enjoy. I like the nuances with it. I like how unique it is. I like how kind of spicy, sexy, sweet it is from that majority of the profile. But again, not a lot of people may be able to get away from that licorice aspect. So one that I would not consider a safe blind buy because of that, and you may be a little too off-putting to most people out there. Again, it is this one by Lolita Lempicka. It is Lempicka Own. On to the next one here, and it's the only other cologne in this video, and I wanted to pick one that was more of the fresher side, one for the more warmer seasons of spring and summer. Almost everything else here is for the cooler seasons and even the cooler side of spring and fall and winter, but I want something that's more for the warmer side of the year, and one that I talk about a good bit on this channel. In fact, my most viewed video on the channel is my review of this one, and I will continually talk about it, even though there's a lot of other fragrances that's come out beside this and since that clone the same fragrance, because this is the only one I have like it. I will continue to talk about it. It is this one by Maison Alhambra, and it is Megara. This is a clone of Eau de Paris's Megara, and I know there's actually a more precise, correct way of saying that, but I'm just going to keep saying Megara until I remember the correct way. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this because I have talked about it a good bit and extensively in a video, again, my most viewed on the channel, and I put a link to it right here. But real quickly, what this one smells like and why it's not going to be a good blind buy is because this smells very sea, ocean, marine, and not just the light, airy at the ocean kind of smell. No, this is the one that smells like the actual sour, briny, more plant-like style of the ocean. It has a seaweed note here, sea cucumber, very salty, very harsh, like I said, briny, sour, a little green, a little aromatic and herbaceous. And it's not just the scent profile itself, but also the performance on this that is going to make this not blind buy safe, because this thing is absolutely nuclear in every aspect of that definition of that word. It is nuclear, it is radioactive, it will seep into your walls, into your clothes, into your skin, and it will never leave. It is absolutely a bomb. For anybody out there who have sprayed this and said they can't smell it for 30 minutes after, you have easily gone nose blind to it. It has singed your olfactive nerve, all of your nose hairs. You can't smell anything from here on out, because this thing is absolutely a powerhouse of a fragrance. It is way above average in longevity and projection and sillage and every other way you can measure a fragrance. It is that way, just like the original Megara. This is one that is definitely not blind buy safe, not just because of the profile, but definitely because of the performance. It is very intense and nuanced in that profile, and it's also on top of that one that's going to push it right in your face and right up your nose. But if you want a very loud performing freshie that will be easily noticeable for anyone around you for the spring and summer, this is the one to go with. You don't have to search anywhere else. There are other ones out there, and if you don't want those, you can get this one. It is most literally your one-stop shop for a freshie that does everything. Again, I love it. I really enjoy it. I wear it very minimal. It's a good thing it came in such a small quantity because you don't need a whole lot of sprays. But again, it's not going to be for everybody. It did smooth out a good bit as it sat on my shelf, but it's still one that is very much in your face and unapologetically powerful. But yeah, one that is definitely not blind buy safe, but that most people may like in little bit doses. It is this one here by Maison Alhambra. It is Megara. And now onto the last one here, and this is actually a staple in the fragrance community, especially the cheap fragrance community, one that has been hailed forever, for years and years, as being the niche for cheap poster child in the community. I really love this, absolutely enjoyed it, and actually bought the extreme version of this before I bought the original, and I loved it. Had to go back and get the original and loved it just the same. It is none other than this one by Lalique. It is Encre Noire. This is the one that is the vetiver centered forward fragrance. I think it has like 2 or 3 different styles of vetiver, very rooty, almost brooding, like earthy style of vetiver, very woody, dry. And in the opening, you do get a good burst of citrus, a little bit of a spiciness actually, all the way through the fragrance. It's definitely fresher than the All Extreme version, even just a little bit fresher than that. I think it makes it slightly a little more wearable for other parts of the year, when I think the All Extreme is strictly for the cold of cold. I think you could wear this even in the daytime in spring and fall and winter. It's really solid in performance, both longevity and projection, but again, the profile is what most people are going to get hung up on because of how vetiver forward it is. Not everyone is a fan of vetiver. It can sometimes be very earthy, it can be ashy, it could be green, it can be fresh, it can be earthy, it can be dirty, it can be spicy and green, all kind of different aspects, and even some of them can be all those things all together, and you do get some of that even in Encre Noire by itself. But yeah, I actually really love this. It is a staple in my collection. I will probably never get rid of it. I really do enjoy it. It's amazing perfumery behind it. It is a testament that you can have an inexpensive fragrance that smells amazing, like I said, niche in quality, if you just have someone behind it that puts their hard work and effort and heart into the art. Again, this is not blind buy safe. It has been talked about as not being blind buy safe, even though some people will push you to try it out, and I'm one of those people that I will encourage you to try it, and I am somewhat one of those people. I do love it. I love the nuance and the profile about it, and I want to encourage you to try it out, but again, it is not blind buy safe. So if you do get it without being able to try it out, just be wary that it's not going to be for everybody, and it may not be for you. I personally really like it, but again, there's a reason why it's in this video, and that other people have also put it in videos just like this one as not being very blind buy safe, but I do love it. It is a classic in the community. I think it will be a staple for even years to come. Again, it is by Lalique, and it is Encre Noire. And there you guys, my 5 fragrances plus 1 honorable mention that I do not consider to be blind buy safe. I really do love them. I adore them. I will continue to talk about them and push them, but I will put them with a little bit of a footnote and a disclaimer that they are definitely not blind buy safe. Each of them have their own reasons. Some of them have very different profiles that may be good, but they're just way too strong of a fragrance, like, you know, this one here. Or some of them may be very, very woody. Some may be very, very smoky. Some may be very, very earthy. Some may be just a little too dry. It's just all kinds of different things here and there. Just different reasons as to why. And even though they are not blind buy safe, I will still encourage you to try them out in some way, whether it be at a fragrance store, you're trying to test yours or through samples or through a friend of a friend, or however you can. I do encourage you to try them out and see what you think about them, because I do love them. They're enjoyable to me, and they're very interesting, unique, like I said, almost niche profiles, but again, they are not going to be blind buy safe. If you do have any of these here, or if you've owned them, or you smell them in person, or maybe you're thinking about trying them out and you just have more questions about them, or maybe this video has helped you about it, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Your comments, your questions, everything all through, just getting that community and the interaction going. And as usual, if you're watching this video and you like what you've seen here and this has helped you, or maybe you've enjoyed it, through entertainment or anything of the sort, please consider giving the video a like and the thumbs up. Let me know that you do want to keep seeing these style of videos, maybe very different from the usual Friday uploads, that I want something that's a little more out of the box this year, something that's a little more different and interesting. If you do want to see that, again, give the video a like, encouraging me to keep making videos just like this. And if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, but you do like what you've seen here or what you've seen elsewhere on the channel, I encourage you to please consider supporting this channel by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can see all the things that I'm working on in the background to bring out to all of you out there for you to watch and enjoy. I'd love for you to be right along with me on this cheap and inexpensive fragrance journey. And hey, maybe I can even help you discover something new along the way. And as usual, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Again, thank you for being here and for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will see all of you again in the next video. Be blessed.